This is chapter 3, the terrain of our brain, part 3, brainwaves, all about brainwaves. This is going to be really useful for you to, again, understand the work we're doing in the following videos. So, again, give this session the time it deserves to really understand what principles we're working with are. Wisdom coming from knowledge is key to this work. We have to understand why we do what we do and use that knowledge, use that wisdom as leverage. We've had a look at trauma. We've had a look at neuroplasticity. We understand those principles. So the next principles we're looking at is brainwaves and understanding what the different brainwave states are and what they give us. Now, the nervous system is made up of neurons. We've talked about this, these nerves. And the supporting cells around them are called glial cells. Now, the brain is the central processing unit of the whole neuroendocrine system, made up of billions of both these sort of cells and all the glands in the body. This is kind of the information web of the body. And like I said, each neuron is connected to around 50,000 other neurons, making up a processing unit, a network of trillions of these connections or synapses. The best estimate we have, and nobody's actually counted them, it's pretty difficult to count, but the best estimate we have is somewhere around 500 to 1,000 trillion synapses. Now, these neurons communicate with each other through a combination of both chemical and electrical signals. The neuron or nerve cell responds to stimulation, depending on what it is or where it is, and its internal chemistry changes when it's stimulated. And it's these chemical and consequent electrical changes that are the firing, or the word that's often used is activation, of the neuron. It's this chemical and electrical changes. Now, neuronal activation translates as the passage of packets of information. And the information being communicated depends on what sort of neuron it is. If it's coming from the eyes, it's about light. If it's coming from the ears, it's about the waves that make up sound. If it's coming from the body, it's about what's going on in the body. Now, neurons only fire when they receive sufficient stimulation. There's a threshold of activation. And after activation, a neuron has to briefly rest as all its chemical constituents return back to homeostasis, back to normal. And the cycles of activation and then rest are called neural oscillation. And brainwaves are the electrical measure of these cycles of neural oscillation, activation and rest. Brainwaves are measured in frequencies. They're called hertz, which are cycles per second. The different brainwaves have different ranges of frequency, of cycles per second, and they represent different qualities and different states of potential mental activity. Now, the various brainwaves are called alpha, beta, gamma, delta, theta, and mu. That's the 6 states. Now, for this course, I want to have a brief look at just 3 of these states. Just 3 of them, because these are the ones we need to know about for this work. Now, there's much more information for you in the free book you've got with this course, which is Lucidity. So please enjoy that. Dive in deep and get as much out of that as you can. Now, beta waves are the first one we're going to look at, and they represent the busiest brainwave state and occur between the range of 12 and 30 hertz. That's 12 and 30 oscillations per second. They're associated with normal waking consciousness of getting on and about and doing things in the world. Their daily life. Their busy business brains, thinking. So low amplitude beta waves of around 12 to 16 hertz are often associated with active, busy, or anxious thinking. Active concentration, active focused concentration, is more associated with beta waves in the 17 to 30 hertz range. The kind of focus or activity in the brain is directly correlated with the brain wave pattern, either high or low beta. Now, alpha waves have got the frequency of 8 to 12 hertz. So that's a lower, less cycles per second. Alpha waves represent alert or slightly wakeful relaxation, a kind of daydreaming of the sort that arises when you've got your eyes half closed, or if you were gazing peacefully at the ocean or a beautiful natural scene of woodland, for example. Alpha waves can also be present just before you fall asleep in the pre-sleep drowsiness or in your NSDR practice, and they're reduced when you open your eyes or actually do fall asleep when you drop into a theta state. Now, this kind of wave, the alpha wave, doesn't exist in babies until they're about 4 months old. Yeah. When it starts at about 4 hertz. And by the time his child is 3 years old, it becomes a more mature 10 hertz. So it changes through childhood. Alpha waves are more abundant in the posterior, that's the back part of the brain, during meditation than during simple relaxation. That's curious. And it's useful to see the distinction. We don't know why yet, but we do know there are changes when you're meditating. Alpha wave activity can also occur during REM sleep, that's rapid eye movement sleep, when we're in the dream state. Now, why alpha waves occur in REM sleep, we don't fully understand, but one key suggestion is that it represents kind of a more wakeful period in that sort of dream state, in that part of our sleep cycle. My experience is that taking alpha breaks during the course of a busy beta brainwave day allows my brain to be more active, and I end up less tired than if I didn't take such a breaks. So your NSDR practice, your type of practice where you're just coming into your breath, because I know full well that I have a breathing practice where I can drop from busy beta to alpha in a minimum of 9 breaths. That's right, 9 breaths I can drop through those states. And I find this control and capacity very beneficial for my creativity and overall well-being. So you're getting the practices in this course where you can begin to train yourself to do that. It's a really, really good skill to cultivate. Now, theta waves occur in the range from 4 to 7 hertz and are associated with deep relaxation, trance work, your NSDR or REM sleep, dream sleep, deep dreaming states. Now, these waves are present when the eyes are moving from side to side in rapid eye movement sleep. And this is suggested to be an aspect of the left-right hemispheric integration between the left and right sides of the brain as we're processing memories, as we're processing emotions, so that we can make sense of our experience in the dream state. It is to do with emotional processing, reviewing the emotional content of life from the day or from earlier on than that, whilst seeking past experiences of the same caliber to make sense out of them. This processing is also about us locating who we are in this world of emotion, in this world of relationship. Who are we to this person? Who are we to that person? Theta waves are also connected to memory consolidation, and therefore through learning and the development of skills. Theta waves are crucial for creativity because this kind of dream state is also related to imagination and therefore creativity. Like I said, children live in the theta state up to about 8 years of age, and that is why their world is full of imagination, fantasy, fairies, magical realms. But this state is also the intense learning state. It's a place where we can much more rapidly learn and shift in terms of neuroplasticity. It's a key leverage point. Theta waves also occur in experienced meditators. When we meditate at depth, we go into a theta state, and it indicates deep and relaxed attention and the monitoring of inner experience. During meditation, theta waves are abundant in the frontal and middle parts of the brain. If we look at shamanic traditions, where there's drumming and dancing and trance work have been used, they evoke the theta state. Certain medicinal plants do the same kind of thing. The rhythm of around 4.5 beats per second or so appears to be the kind of induction that takes the practitioner into the deepest states of trance. Yeah? The kind of rhythm of 4.5 beats per second. The chanting of mantras by Vedic, Tibetan, tantric practitioners may well, from what we understand so far, have a similar effect. They transport the practitioner into states of theta wave related bliss. Theta states are also connected to accelerated healing potential. We heal quicker. So NSDR is a key practice, at its best an exploration of the capacity to sustain alertness as you drop from beta into alpha, from alpha into theta, and potentially even from theta into delta. And ideally you'll be learning to do the same in your meditation practice. Yoga Nidra is like NSDR, and it's a way of preparing for lucid dreaming and dream yoga. Lucid dreaming, again you've got that in your lucidity book, most probably occurs in the theta and gamma states. That's the information we've got so far. We have a lot of science now on lucid dreaming. So learning to access the theta state as an adult gives you direct connection to your creative purpose. Remember, theta state is where we process emotion, usually in the dream state, as our brain seeks to make sense out of the arising phenomena that occur through the course of the day. Remember, trauma is emotional content that cannot be easily processed, certainly at the time. So let's look a little bit more about emotions and how to work with them well. Now, in English, we talk about being an emotion. Think of it. Think of how English people speak, the English-speaking people. I am angry. I am sad. I am anxious. If we look at other cultures, including the Gaelic from Ireland, from Scotland, we find the description of emotion to be not identity, but process. So anger is moving through me. Sadness is moving through me. Anxiety is moving through me. It's a different experience. It's not solid, and it's not identity. And it gives emotions a beginning, a middle, and an end. They're moving. They're not stuck. They're not stuck identity. While this may seem like a small verbal shift, it's a huge shift in perspective. We're not just our emotions. We are way, way more than this. When we know this deeply, we're not trapped by them. They're expressions of life. We're not just our thoughts. We're way, way more than this. You know, that philosophical adage, I think, therefore I am, is upended. It's turned over. It becomes I am, and therefore I think when I need to. So this section on understanding your brain is the next chunk of knowledge for you to weave through the tools that we're using on this course, for you to create a life of purpose, creative, purposeful, beautiful life.